Coach Jenn. Coach Jenn is a interesting coach because she's determined that we will win. Even though we lost every game in our season.
With Coach Jenn was interesting. When I first met her, I thought she was an assistant coach. But in reality, she was the head coach. But she would hand our butts to us. It would run cardio every time. Drills would get harder with every single practice. She would do all this to prepare us for Judges Cup.
Being Coach Jenn's assistant is definitely an adventure. She brings an unbelievable passion to the game and coaching and teaching in general. That's why she has so many returning players or players that are asking for her to, coach their divisions. Why I've seen her.
Jenn Signer here, progress coaching strategist and trainer. I am so excited for this coaching on and off the field series. You guys are going to be in for a fun ride where we're taking stories from the soccer field and the volleyball court and we're bringing them over into the corporate setting. And how does that transition and mirror leadership and coaching in the real world? And so it's so fun. And the way that this got started is just our passion for coaching, which is why we transitioned it into the real world and why we're having such joy as coaches in real life as well. Is, we have seen so many times where managers get stuck on managing process and managing to a certain number, as opposed to being a coach and helping employees see the best version of themselves. And so because coaching is going to be your greatest talent development tool that you're going to have inside any organization, because there is nothing that beats that manager and that employee relationship or that coach and player relationship. That's going to be the strong bond that any organization is going to have, that you probably have right now. And so, it's how do I become the best coach or the best manager, the best leader for that employee or for that player? And it's by seeing their strengths as opposed to their weaknesses. And so what we did is we took some videos from some players, and there was a particular season that really just kind of drove this idea. It was a season of failure, because we're going to have failures in the corporate world as well. And this season of failure, I was challenged to go into a new role as a male coach, a male team coach. And I was a 28-year-old female coach being tasked to manage middle school boys. And that's just kind of like the corporate world too. There's going to be many times where you're comfortable in one particular setting, right? And then you're being tasked to go lead a team of people that you've never led before. And so I struggle with that decision, as I'm like, man, are they going to be receptive of me? I'm a young female. How are these boys going to handle that? But I had to realize that as a manager, I couldn't choose which team I was going to manage. If I was asked to go lead that team, I had to go lead that team. And so I took that challenge. I was coming into it as a winning coach as well, mind you. So in your current role, there's been probably times where you're like, man, I'm winning every award that is out there by the company. I'm being recognized as a top leader, as a top manager. And then you're asked to go lead a low-performing team. And you're like, man, now I'm not getting the recognition. I'm not getting the credit. This is awful. And so it took some humbling time for me as well, because I'm like, man, I'm losing every single game this season. This is not the Coach Jenn that the world knows, because now I'm down here losing. But I quickly became known as the happiest losing coach, and turned it around to where we ended up winning championship. And so I use that as just an instrumental leading story for my coaching career. Because it was during that season where I used those players the same way that I would my employees, and seen them for individuals. I seen their strengths as opposed to their weaknesses. I wanted, when I called them into my office, if you will, for them to not think, what is she going to yell at me about this time? Because how many times your employees look at that situation, whether you call them into your office, like, what are they thinking? What am I going to get yelled at for this time? I know I didn't hit my numbers. What are they going to talk about this time? What other strategy are they going to try to help me to achieve those numbers? They don't see me for me. I'm going to get yelled at. I wanted to come out of that mindset and for them to say, how is she going to help me achieve my greatest success now? How am I going to get another compliment to help me achieve that next goal that's going to help me strive to be the best version of me? Because that is what coaching is all about. And that's what being a true leader is all about. And so I asked some of my players from that particular season, because I've coached many teams, and currently I'm a high school coach now of girls, but I asked specifically this group of 21 boys to send me in videos, and I only asked them 2 questions. And one of the questions was, what was your thought or your perception at the beginning of the season? You can talk about the season, you can talk about the team, you can talk about me as a coach, but I want you to be as transparent as possible. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
When I first met her, I thought she was an assistant coach. But in reality, she was the head coach of an all-males team. I first thought, we're all screwed, but she would hand our butts to us.
Some feedback, which I did, that's gonna be very similar, that's gonna correlate to the leadership world. When you step into a role as a manager, not all your employees are gonna like you, right? You're gonna have people that go, what is this joker gonna do now? Like, how is this manager gonna be any different? This is a female leader, or this is a young male leader, right? You're gonna have them, but then you're also gonna have employees that are like, okay, I'm gonna give them a shot. They're my leader. I'm gonna respect authority. So it's gonna be different. You're going to have a whole different wide of opinions about you. And so that's what I wanted these players to show. And so, and I had some players that said, man, we're screwed. Coach Jenn is coming in. And those were the things that I wanted, you guys to hear, that it's the same as on the field as it is in the classroom, if you will. And so then I asked them the second question is, what were your thoughts after we won that championship? And so because I wanted you guys to see that even though you have winning seasons throughout your career with your teams, you're not going to hit your numbers every single month. You're not going to hit your quotas every single quarter. You're going to have some quarters where you just completely struggle. We may be all in a struggling quarter right now. Some of you may be in your thriving quarter right now. No matter what that looks like, you're never going to have a complete season of winning, even if you have won every single season up until that transition where you're asked to lead a new team, where you're now no longer the winning coach.
I'm losing, so I didn't think we were going to win the season, but our coach was always there for us, pushing us, making us better players every single practice. It kept on encouraging us to be better players and to have better chemistry between players, and in my opinion, that's my best coach that I've ever had, because she was always there, and she never let us beat ourselves up.
Complete shift in my coaching strategy in general. I no longer get the winning teams. In fact, I get the teams that need a little bit more loving. They need the team that needs a coach and a leader that understands leading a team to success by seeing the strengths and not the weaknesses of the team, and taking small wins and multiplying that so we can get the big win at the end of the season, and have those teams pulled off of my team and get placed onto competitive teams. That's been the greatest reward. And seeing employees that I have trained through my sales training career, where they didn't see value in themselves. They saw the weaknesses. I'm coming from a different industry. I can't do this. And then just encouraging them and focusing on that strength to see them now as top leaders of multi-million-dollar organizations. It is a tremendous reward that I want for all coaches and all leaders and all managers to see that transition to becoming a coach has tremendous more reward than it just does of just being a manager in that process. So that's what this series is going to be all about. And we're going to have, Tim and I are going to combine our stories, our volleyball stories, our soccer coaching stories, and we're going to drive a lesson to you each week on how you can apply what we've learned from the field, or maybe some of you even are coaches on the field, and how you can apply that in the classroom and training your people. And you can kind of see how progress coaching helps you apply those principles into leading your teams to success. And so what I'd encourage you to do, because these videos are not all the way finished, because I'm asking teenage boys now that they're like 16, 17 years old to send me in videos. So that's a challenge to try to get that from them. So they are still sending them in. And as they do, I'm creating a new lesson. So if there's topics that you'd like for us to discuss about the coaching world, please shoot that below. Send me a message. Let me know what you'd like to see in those lessons, and we'd love to put that together for you and how we can kind of correlate that. And we're hoping that this is just going to relish outside of this one particular season, because like I said, I've had many players, and I want those players to know, if they're watching this, that I will be asking you for a video eventually too, but I just wanted to focus on that one season to really drive home to you as managers and leaders that we're going to have losing seasons, but it doesn't mean that we can't turn that around to have that winning season and see that success by just having that mindset shift. So I'm super excited to look for an article to follow this as well, with an outline of some of the topics that we do already have planned, and then send me a list of topics that you'd like to see discussed in this as well. So thank you all so much. I appreciate the support, and have a great week.
I realized we weren't screwed. We weren't screwed from the beginning. Coach Jenn, she wasn't in it for the small little battle. She was in it for the long run. She was in it to win the war.